Lisk. It's been around since 2017, and most non-developers have likely never heard of it for two reasons specifically. Firstly, this represents the kind of project that's been building quietly behind the scenes without much fanfare. And secondly, they're not a high flyer token that's made a lot of headlines with 10,000 or 20 or 30,000% ROIs. Kind of just like that household name Project X was back in 2011. In fact, between 2011 and now, Project X went up from its low of $9 to its current price of $678, which is a 74x return. That's the kind of ROI we're looking for here at Altcoin Buzz. But before that huge rise, Project X dropped from $42 all the way down to a low of $9. No one wanted it. It was the definition of an asset that was out of favor with the public. However, smart investors knew two things. Number one, turnaround stories can make great investments. And number two, that Project X had valuable yet undervalued assets and an engaged community. And when you have a turnaround story, one of the things you have to look out for is for the potential of that turnaround to be very, very successful. And it was for Project X. So what exactly was Project X? It was none other than Netflix. So why are we talking about Netflix? Well, because it was a turnaround story from an unprofitable movie rental company to a high-flying, high-tech streaming online company. Turnaround stories can make for great investments. And in that spirit, we have a great turnaround story for you. Lisk. Hey guys, before we deep dive, allow me to introduce myself. I am Maddie and we are Altcoin Buzz. We are a crypto investment research company. We've been in this crypto space for a long time now and have been making millionaires since all the way back in 2017, not by accident, not at all by accident. Go back and check our track record. We've made some very public, very transparent, very major bets in big winners like Ethereum, Binance, Cardano, Crypto.com, Engine, Matic Network, Chiliz, Quant Network, Polkadot, Uniswap, and many other 100x projects. And the key to successful investments is really digging into successful projects at an early stage with a lot of research. And this is the heavy lifting that we do for you guys. So if you don't want to miss out on the next potential crypto moonshot or altcoin gem, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Altcoin Buzz, and hit the bell to receive notifications. That way YouTube alerts you every time we put out new content. But if you want to go to the next level and have access to our early research tips on the next potential 100x crypto project, then you need to be part of our paid membership program. That is called Altcoin Buzz Access, and that is now live. It's going very well, and a lot of people are already being rewarded. If that's something that interests you, and if you'd like to be part of that community, you can check out the sign-up details. Those are included in the link in the description below. And of course, guys, as a reminder, we of course wish you the very best of luck if you choose to invest, but any kind of investment has corresponding risk. Do not assume this video is any sort of financial or investment advice. It is not. All right, with all of that being said, let's discuss Lisk. So why exactly are we so excited about this project right now? Well, as we said at the beginning of this video, Lisk is in a unique position within the crypto economy. Why? Well, it's a long established crypto company all the way back since 2017. It's been doing its thing kind of quietly. And they were once very popular, in fact, as you may remember, only to fall out of favor subsequently. And there's also a pretty big developer community. And they're all working diligently on tools behind the scenes. And that community has been steadily growing quietly all these years as well. We know many of you track developer interest as a way to see if a project is in fact achieving network effects, and Lisk is really punching above its weight in this category. A great way to track developer activity, by the way, is with the number of commits to a project. And thanks to Crypto Miso, we can find it out pretty easily. Despite being ranked number 195 in market value, Lisk is number 25 of all blockchain projects in terms of that number of commits for the last 12 months. So in this regard, it's doing very, very well. In fact, they have more commits than Ethereum's huge developer community. Lisk has a $1.3 million fund, which is going to double in Q2 of next year, Q2 2022. And that $1.3 million is meant to incentivize developers to build blockchain applications for the Lisk ecosystem. And they're also using their AmpliFire event in early December to reintroduce Lisk to the public. But you're getting a chance to see what they're like before that happens. And we're going to be talking more about this event later. These kinds of numbers and these metrics and these kinds of initiatives are the sort of things that get us excited. So Lisk is a blockchain ecosystem whose primary goal is interoperability. And they achieve this goal by shortening the learning curve for developers. Lisk is the only major blockchain project whose SDK, software development kit, to program and developer apps is JavaScript. Why is this important? Well, as you can see here, according to Stack Overflow's 2020 survey of most popular technologies, JavaScript was indeed the number one language for the 8th year in a row. 2/3 of all developers in the survey actually use JavaScript. And if someone already knows the language, then they can start building blockchain apps on Lisk right away. No need to learn anything new like Python or maybe Solidity for EVM compatibility. It's not necessary. Does this all sound a little bit too technical? Well, it is, except that the important part for investors like us is that it's easy for new developers to start building blockchain apps on Lisk. There are very low barriers to entry, and more are doing just that all the time. And you can see evidence of it in their community across all platforms, but especially their very active developer Discord. Here's their value proposition in a nutshell, and it's based on this ease of getting developers onto their platform in order to develop apps. We're going to break this down into a few points. Number one, Lisk is one of the most accessible blockchains to new crypto developers because of the Lisk SDK and its language, JavaScript. Lisk SDK is known to be very easy to use. Secondly, like Polkadot, but not calling them parachains, with Lisk you can develop sidechains. Unlike Polkadot, you can support an unlimited number of sidechains instead of the limited number of parachains on Polkadot. So in that sense, there's an advantage with Lisk. Thirdly, the documentation and onboarding process for beginners, intermediate, and advanced developers with Lisk SDK is good too. It has the reputation of being very fast, very easy, and quite thorough. Number 4, for investors who like Layer 1 blockchain projects or Web3 projects, well, Lisk is both and represents the best of both worlds. Lisk allows developers to build blockchain applications with total flexibility and lots of customization. Number 5, Lisk has a scalable and energy-efficient consensus algorithm, delegated proof of stake. We like this form of POS, and a full 43% of all Lisk is staked. And finally, number 6, Lisk is decentralized and fully open source, which allows everyone to access the tools to start building blockchain applications. Let's talk about the quality of the Lisk team. So Lisk was founded by Max Kordek, shown here, along with Oliver Beddoes back in 2016, and they raised over 14,000 Bitcoin, that's 14,000 BTC, in its initial coin offering, making it one of the most successful crowdfunds at that time. It's also arguably one of the best financed blockchains based on their most recent monthly financial update. We really like this transparency, by the way, from Lisk. Again, every month they update publicly the financial status of the company. This is another plus as we see it, certainly. Let's look now at the tokenomics of the LSK token. This is a utility token used to pay for transaction fees on the blockchain. It's also used as a governance token. So between their Bitcoin holdings and USDC and other crypto holdings and some fiat, they have about $170 million USD in assets, almost all of which is liquid to them if needed. Because so much of their holdings are in USDC, they use BlockFi as a treasury management tool and lend it out and earn between $38,000 and $148,000 monthly for every month in these last 6 months. That cash flow and these liquid assets alone have value, and we think it's not reflected necessarily in the Lisk LSK token price. And that's common with turnaround stories like Lisk. Even high quality, high value assets tend to be undervalued. In fact, with the current circulating supply of 144.8 million, the cash flow alone at about 170 million is worth $1.17 of LSK. At its current price of about $3.50, down from its all-time high of over $35, this means the entire value of the Lisk blockchain project is only worth $2.35 right now. Obviously, that's some quick math, $3.50 minus that $1.17 figure we provided a moment ago. Therefore, this project is incredibly undervalued, and that's where the opportunity is as an investor. There is no stated maximum supply, so you should know that if that's something that bothers you. Again, there's no stated maximum supply. Lisk's block reward of 1 LSK per block, which is every 10 seconds, is set to stay the reward forever, at least as of right now. There are some potential risks to consider with Lisk. By far the biggest, in our opinion, is that the project stays where it is and the turnaround does not happen. It is possible. Both the risk of this happening and of how much money you can lose if it did happen with a token priced under $4 each. So the risks are low. However, we must concede that not every turnaround is successful, and we have to face at least the potential of that reality here. In terms of competitors, as we said before, Polkadot, with their many parachain systems, can be considered a competitor for Lisk. Cosmos, who also works to help others create blockchains, could be thought of as a competitor as well. But we do think that Lisk has some significant advantages over both of these. Let's talk about the roadmap. And the most exciting event for Lisk is the early December AmpliFire event, where they're going to reintroduce Lisk to the world outside of the developer community. The AmpliFire event is a big marketing blitz to show people Lisk is still here. It's still healthy and it's still building and very much worthy of your attention. So the event specifically is going to take place live on December 2nd in Berlin. Topics are going to include why people ought to build with blockchain. It's going to look at the case for Lisk as the best and easiest blockchain solution for people's projects, platform launch with some new previously secret announcements, and a big future marketing set of plans, including the $1.3 million app development fund. So Lisk right now has a lot going on, and they have lots of good things to show the public to make the case for themselves as part of that reintroduction event. And you can get into this turnaround story before the publicity blitz happens. Like most big turnaround projects, there are still a lot of things that Lisk is doing right. Things like growing their developer community, focusing on interoperability, making a user-friendly SDK to make app building easy, and of course, sound financial management. That is always a plus. And like most turnaround projects, yes, there are things they haven't done as well, like communicate their messages to the public and focus on growing the entire ecosystem, not just how many developers there are. An ecosystem needs, after all, users that include non-technologists, and Lisk is waking up to this reality. At its AmpliFire event and through these other major operational aspects, they are doing right. And the good word is bound to get out about them sooner or later. So what do you guys think about Lisk? Is this a project that you previously invested in? Maybe you rode the price of LSK all the way up to previous all-time highs. Maybe you're jaded. Maybe you think that their glory days are behind them. But whatever your opinion is, let us know in the comments below what you think of Lisk and accordingly LSK. This is one we're super bullish about, and we think this is a major opportunity. However, guys, as a reminder, and as always, never financial advice. If you guys are still watching now, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Altcoin Buzz. Also hit the bell to receive notifications. Check out these other videos which are popping up right about now. As always, guys, stay safe, and we do hope to see you again soon in the next video. Take care.